You're listening to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, powered by Attribution, ultimate destination for affiliate program news, insights, growth opportunities, partnerships, and affiliate program strategy. When we kicked off the season on New Year's Day, we didn't just open up another chapter of the Affiliate Marketing Podcast. We set a tone for the year to come. A tone of gaining clarity in the chaos, a commitment to questioning old assumptions, and a promise that 2026 would not only simply be business as usual. From our season opener, we showed that if affiliate marketing ever felt settled, predictable, or fully optimized, 2025 shattered that illusion. The channel delivered £16 for every £1 invested in the UK alone, generated $19 billion in basket revenue, and drove $113 billion in US e-commerce sales, all while taking 60% of searches and ending without a single click. Over the past season, we've heard from CEOs, publishers, tracking pioneers, AI strategists, community builders, and industry veterans who have collectively confirmed one thing. Affiliate marketing isn't evolving slowly anymore. It's shifting in real time. We've unpacked zero-click search and AI citations. We've challenged last-click attribution and outdated recruitment tactics. We've explored data transparency, conversion protection, ethical AI adoption, community-led growth, localization strategies, compliance, and why human relationships remain the only real moat in an algorithm-driven world. So let's wrap up this season the way that we started it, strategically, honestly, and with our eyes firmly on what's coming up next. Our first guest of the season was István Torpöy, who joined us to challenge one of the most dangerous habits in affiliate marketing, growing without scrutiny. We unpacked the mega lag controversy. We exposed the critical differences between coupon and cashback browser extensions, and explored why most affiliate risk and value creation happens after the launch and not before. The key takeaway: more partners don't mean more growth. What is István's advice before launching an affiliate program? Well, take a listen for yourself. Here's what he had to say his top 3 non-negotiables are for 2026.
So this one is actually very easy, but number 1, monitor your data. So your performance reports. It's not a joke. Don't just poop out a weekly report, even if it's automated, send it to management, and that's it. A recent case, we launched a new affiliate. So it was for that US, Canada. It's a wellness brand. They have an app, or they have several apps. We launched an affiliate. And we instantly, because we rigorously watch the data, especially for newly launched affiliates, but also new to us, as in we have never tested those guys before. So not just a new one on this program, but new in general. Watch the data like a hawk. They did, I think in the first day, they did almost 800 installs on the app, but eventually only got 3 purchases from that app. That ratio is like the worst that it has never been done in the company, not in any single channel. So instantly we knew that something was up. It was an indication of like a farm, those bot farms where you don't need to go into details, but they just blast out fake installs and basically try to make money on that. So watch your data like a hawk. Like you need to stay on top of it, especially for new launches. Number 2, be open to changing your default payout model. So if you're like, let's say an e-commerce brand and you're on cost per sale, so percentage of the order value, you have to be able to look beyond that initial. So let's say, Europe is actually much worse at this than the US. So US, I think, are pretty good at looking at customer lifetime value, are willing to pay more for that initial sale because they have good nurturing and good follow-ups and good reactivation campaigns. So they know that this is the kind of data you need to look at as well. So be open to changing. This is from a perspective of, okay, from CPS, we're also going to offer CPA because we know that the average order value pretty much in 98% of the time is about this. We know that people then afterwards buy 2 more times. So we can easily offer them a fixed payment. And why do you want to do that? It's for certain affiliates. For them, it's more interesting, like media buyers. They have more guarantee. They don't like percentages. So they just want a fixed payout. So to attract more affiliates, quality affiliates, you need to be able to change your payout models. Same thing like, for example, a B2B brand, actually SaaS, B2B, they went from B2C to B2B. And the first thing I said was, you need to start paying CPL. Like you need to pay leads because this is a longer sales cycle, right? This is a different process. You have sales involved in trying to convert these bigger order values. You need to start also paying CPLs. They didn't think about this. They were like, okay, you know what? Yes, we have to try it. So you need to be able to to be willing to, based on data you have, to pay different payouts than just the default that you think that you want to do. So that's one of the other ones. I mean, in general, compliance and monitoring is one of the things that I've seen this go wrong so many times. It doesn't have to be a third-party tool per se, right? If you don't have the funds for it, let's say you're a small company, right? You don't have the money for 500, 1,000 per month to pay for a tool, even though they're good, right? You don't have the money. Do conversion quality checks. Do they actually convert?
Next up, John Osler, the CEO of Finder, exposed a seismic shift in affiliate monetization. AI engines now cite affiliate publisher content in the majority of financial product answers, yet often seem to send users directly to providers, bypassing the very publishers who created that content and expertise. He termed it as the great affiliate bypass. We unpacked why this isn't traditional plagiarism, but a structural change in discovery, how AI consensus answers are built on publisher investment, and why last-click attribution is becoming dangerously outdated. The big takeaway: the future belongs to publishers who redefine their value beyond traffic and evolve their commercial models before AI shapes them out of the equation. One key point John made is scarily obvious. AI is only going to improve here on out, and we'll have to play catch up to stay ahead.
This is the early days. This is the worst AIs are going to be. They're only getting better. So if you're worried about it today, you should be very worried about it in 2 years' time, because who knows what they're going to look like. So I think from the consumer's perspective, they are getting pretty good content as long as it doesn't hallucinate. It doesn't hallucinate as much because it's using sort of RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation. So the AIs, they're kind of working two modes. It's like the core model, which is fact-based, which is what's the capital of England. And that's a fact. It doesn't need to go and search for that. It knows that in the core model. And those aren't updated that often. Then there's AI search, which is what most people are doing when you're searching for like a best thing or the latest thing. And it's running 10, 20 searches behind the scenes. And then it's just incredible how fast it can summarize those with the knowledge that it's got. And it gives you the results. Yeah, I think the consumer's getting a pretty good results. I guess the argument or the concern would be around how is it going to change the publishing landscape, given that it's going to be a lot harder to make money investing in editorial. Again, that's been a story that's going for the last 20 years, is journalistic independence and the amount of money that's available to invest in original research and those sorts of things. If that gets more challenging, then are we going to have the level of investment that we need to get that sort of independent editorial insights and those sorts of things? And I guess that's the flip side of the humanistic side of things, which I think publishers can play to, that have brands and have reputations. And I think one thing is going back to that. If you're a pure play content, organic search, last click affiliate model, you don't really have a brand or don't really have any experts, and it's really just a marketing arbitrage, that model's pretty much dead. That's going to be very hard to maintain that. You really need to have a reason that people would trust you and would seek out your insights and your reviews or comparisons over anyone else's. And even then, you're going to have to be creative and diversify to try and get back to the same levels of revenue we're at.
Next, we welcome Stuart Miles, the founder of Squirrel, who pulled back the curtain on why so many affiliate programs look busy on paper but underperform in reality. With experience scaling Pocket Lint to 12.5 million monthly readers, he explained how affiliate managers often damage publisher relationships through friction, irrelevance, and transactional thinking before partnerships ever gain momentum. We explored why product feeds and ease of linking often matter more than commission increases, how most outreach fails the basic relevance test, and why removing small technical barriers can unlock disproportionate revenue gains. The central lesson of this episode was clear. Sustainable affiliate growth doesn't come from pushing promotions. It comes from building genuine, low-friction partnerships that feel more like long-term collaborations than short-term campaigns. In this clip, we give you a snapshot of how Squirrel works, and you can see how it can help your affiliate links, organization, and distribution.
What we see, where it really benefits is normally what happens is you get started in affiliates, you're working with manual links, you're creating those links, you kind of start, with a handful of products, handful of pages, handful of products, and you kind of grow from there. Where we work really well is at scale. We've kind of built our system to be able to, if you've got a load of links on your pages already, loads of URLs, we can take those, match up the products automatically globally around the world. we can be up and running within an afternoon where we can suddenly transfer 10,000 affiliate links and make sure that you're working directly with them, that you're maximizing it where you need to maximize it. So we've kind of built that idea because we were so used at PocketLint to, millions of readers, thousands of pages, lots of links. I mean, we had about 500 buying guides at the end. You can't build a system that involves any manual work because the idea is about saving time. Some of the publishers that are working with us now, they start using Squirrel and they immediately come back about a couple of weeks later and say, your savings about 15 minutes per article to make sure that the links are right, the wrappers are correct, all those kind of things. It goes further in that sense of, there are some cases where you need to have price comparison, right? So some of the products that you can think of within the tech sphere, we do everything, right? So we do gardening and makeup and all the other stuff. Some products you find are sold at multiple places across the retail space, okay? That's where the price comparison works really well because we know that certainly in the run-up to Black Friday and things like that, there is huge amounts of pricing elasticity going on where the price is constantly changing like on a daily, if not hourly basis to try and make sure that you work. Where it works really well, and you're talking about the FCC stuff, is if it's a singularized product that it might only be sold at one place, but because our system is constantly checking the feeds every 2 to 4 hours, we know that the price that you're going to be listing, even for that singular product that doesn't have multiple retailers working for it, is going to be correct because we've checked the feeds at a regular cadence.
Up on the mic next was Trisha Mayer, reflecting on her unexpected Pinnacle Award at the Affiliate Summit West conference and the 20-year journey that took her from attorney to publisher to executive director of the Performance Marketing Association. She candidly shared what it really takes to build a lasting career in affiliate marketing without compromising your values and why kindness and curiosity have been her competitive advantage through every industry shift. We explored how her early mom blog, Publishing Beginnings, evolved into industry leadership and why genuine communities built through real connection rather than performative platforms, and what the independent growth data reveals about affiliate marketing outpacing e-commerce itself. In this segment, we give you a sneak peek on what's to come from the PMA and how they are taking on board all the AI changes that are coming our way.
So we are starting an AI council whose sole responsibility will just be everything that's touching AI and affiliate marketing. And we started an influencer council last year, and they've been doing a really good job of trying to figure out what's new in influencer and what they're seeing coming up in this year. AI council will be doing the same, looking at it from both sides of it. As publishers, as brands, what do we need to be doing to stay ahead of these LLMs to reward the publishers? But also the other side, what are the technologies that are out there that are AI that will help publishers to build a CMS on the back end to track the customer journey, that will help the brand to be able to track for disclosures and compliance, things like that. So the two prongs of AI. I also think a big part of the PMA in the past has been that we've been traditional e-commerce. Most of the way that we were built, a lot of our initiatives have been. And so this year we already have lined up, we had affiliate B2B webinar that's going to be coming up, including influencer B2B, because that's a really new hot topic. We're going to be doing a fintech webinar, understanding that's a whole part of the industry that's huge that we just haven't done any or enough with, really. So we're trying to go outside what I consider to be our PMA comfort zone into some of those areas where we know that we have members that really have a lot of experience and that they're willing to teach others.
I love that. I'm all about the teaching and the education in this industry because it's so needed. If you could paint a picture of what affiliate marketing looks like in 5 years from now, what do you think would be fundamentally different?
It's so funny. I feel like it's going to all be the same because having been here now this long, like having these arguments now about toolbars, and remembering that the very first thing when I learned here over 20 years ago was that people were arguing about toolbars. The customer is still going to be there. We're all going to be fighting for the customer. We're all going to be fighting for different points in the customer journey. The details are going to be different. Every time we think something's going to kill something else in the industry, video is going to kill content. Mobile phones are going to kill people using their computers for shopping. Like every time that we think something new is going to completely wipe out everything else, it doesn't.
Now, if you're optimizing purely for last click, this next episode makes the case for a much smarter lens on customer behavior. Drawing on the insights from Zilch's 5 million strong UK customer base, Phil Thompson challenged long-held assumptions about loyalty, price sensitivity, and what truly drives incremental value in performance marketing. Also, we spoke about cookie tracking and how that leaves dangerous blind spots. How first-party payment data reveals purchase intent without complex integrations, and why many loyal shoppers are quietly spending more with competitors. We also touched upon the affiliate channel's unique post-sale negotiation dynamic and how Zilch's fee-free credit model funds growth through commission rather than consumer interest, and why emotional, seasonal storytelling now outperforms blunt discounting. This episode reframes affiliate performance around real consumer behavior and not surface-level attribution. Listen in as we highlight how Zilch works and how customers benefit from its unique selling point.
The wonderful thing with Zilch is that unlike sort of other similar players in the space, we work as a now physical as well, but predominantly a digital Visa card. There's no integration needed, no extra work, no working with your PSP to implement a button at checkout or whatever it might be. It quite literally runs the Visa rails. The traditional setup we have is that a brand would come to us or we would reach out to a brand. We would agree the terms so that we could offset the consumer credit and enable the brand to operate on a fee-free basis, as we would call it. And then where, again, we're fairly uniquely placed within the market. Like, we work with affiliate cookie tracking. That's how we're born. We absolutely love it. However, I think the thing that we've maybe found, and I think it was an APMA session that we were both at the back end of last year. I can't remember who said it, but it resonated with me. The fact that the affiliate channel is the only channel that you almost negotiate once the transaction's happened. You get the sale, it goes through into the network. You then have the opportunity to say, no, yes, no, yes, no. And again, there's obviously lots of reasons above my head that happens, but in certain instances, that maybe isn't always the most fair and reasonable way to do it. Within Zilch, we have that full end-to-end journey of working. We can offer brands a way that we can work through cookie tracking, absolutely. But then we can also almost fill in those gaps where cross-device, consent, or whatever it might be, may leave a few holes. We're able to deliver that picture of what Zilch is doing, why we're doing it. And we do that through something called intelligent commerce. I don't know if you remember, Leanne, you had to endure me on stage for quite a while at our summit last year. But this is something that we announced. We've been working on it with a few brands. We've started going a lot more all in on this. This is the way that we truly believe is almost the future for working with us. Opportunities to tap in to that goldmine of data, as you called it.
So for people listening in, can you just explain what intelligent commerce is? Because I think it's quite important for them to understand.
Absolutely, of course. So intelligent commerce is the way of working with Zilch, where we will typically look to do it as much as we can through the affiliate network so that we include to make the lift for the brands as small as possible. But the idea would be is that it is tracking through almost the merchant ID. Not an AWIN mid, but the payment processor mid, if you will. Because with Zilch, again, we've got that customer coming into the app, interacting with the app, then going on to purchase. We see that full end-to-end journey. So it's almost using the card data to fill in any gaps, if you will, from where traditionally cookie tracking would let us down. To incentivize brands, again, we use it in a case that Zilch will fund advertising for the brand on the strength of the CPA. We're trying to make it a position for a brand where it becomes very scalable. You know that on a monthly basis, we're able to forecast going forward. Typically, this is where we see you're able to go. And then from the back of that, let's say the use case is proven, we're able to supercharge it further by increasing the rate, funding more marketing, ultimately with the ambition of making Zilch its own channel for your digital marketers.
The hits just kept on coming this season, as we interviewed Adam Ross, the CEO of AWIN, who outlined how AI-powered search is fragmenting the customer journey and why deterministic tracking alone won't survive the next 5 years. Adam revealed just how much invisible value most programs are missing. Adam also touched upon the basic seismic shift in content attribution as LLMs cite publisher content without rewarding it, why probabilistic tracking is becoming more essential, and how different tracking sources now require different tracking and reward models.
We were seeing for a while a number of things getting in the way of tracking effectively. And remember, this is a channel that's underpinned by this cost per acquisition model, which I think is still today a wonderfully elegant model. It's still a selling point for the channel. And I think if we're all going out and advocating for this wonderfully pure model, then we have to make sure that we are tracking accurately when we can. Now, we've just spoken about how it's not going to be always possible to do that, but when we can, we should. And actually, the industry has developed out some pretty sophisticated tracking methodologies over the years to combat some of the challenges that have been faced, whether that's around tracking prevention, ad blockers, whatever. There's been a number of different things, GDPR, ITP, that have come in the way of effective tracking. The challenge has always been for us is how do you get advertisers that have been with us for years, been doing affiliate marketing for years, to invest the time and energy and development engineering resource to upgrade to the latest tracking methodology.
There's a cost to that, but there's also change is hard, like for any business. So you need to be able to adopt change.
So the drawing the line in the sand was, look, we gave people plenty of grace, but we said, look, after a certain point in time, which we said was April last year, we want everybody to upgrade to the latest tracking methodologies. And if you don't, and there could be many valid reasons why you can't, then we're going to use all the data that we have to come up with a way to assume in a probabilistic way sales that would have happened if you had put the tracking on effectively. And this has driven a huge increase in the adoption of the latest tracking methodologies, which has been fantastic. I even had advertisers come to me and say, thank you for doing this, because I've been trying to get the business to implement the best tracking because it's in their interests to have a clear view of how successful their affiliate program is, but they've not had the incentive internally. They've not had the driver to make it happen. And we've given them that. And so that's resulted in, over $250 million of additional revenue being tracked. It's more than $16 million of additional commission just in the 9 months that we've been doing it. And that's been a great thing.
Next on the roster, a good friend and industry fellow agency owner, Frederick Jeanbart, founder of Performance Partners, explained why AI-generated outreach has raised the noise level but lowered the standard, and why that creates an opportunity for affiliate managers willing to do the basics exceptionally well. Drawing on 17 years of experience and my 20 years as well, we spoke across networks, brands, and as affiliates ourselves. We revealed why true growth happens in deal-making conversations with high-quality partners and not just in mass email blasts. We also explored the widening gap that managers send and what top affiliates actually need to see before committing, why VIP buyers require a different mindset and structure, and how diversification across partner types has become a survival strategy in an increasingly fragile landscape. In a world of automation, the managers who win are the ones who build real relationships and structure smarter deals. So listen in on this next clip and you might learn something new. What are some of the things that you and your team are doing to just keep that humanistic element inside the program management when, the day-to-day is quite administrative, but how do you keep that personalization going?
So again, you can call it vintage, but I come from a world where we would do calls with affiliates and it wasn't just all emails and Slack. And I'm not saying you need to get on calls with every single affiliate because that's not realistic. Let's say you're prospecting and you're recruiting and you find a really big affiliate. There's a world of a difference between trying to negotiate a deal with them through email or Slack versus being on a call and they actually get to see your face. They get to hear your voice. They get to hear, no, this is why you need to join this program. Here are the reasons. And so these are the things that we do. So number one is for really good opportunities or relationships and partnerships where we have revenue going and they're a good partner of ours. We don't get on a ton of calls, but you want to build that relationship because so much of what we do is behind a screen and it's their Slack and email. And yes, there are face-to-face events, but in between those, you want to there's something I learned very young in my career. I worked at a network and it was almost like a boiler room and they made us do cold calls like crazy. And I was shocked when I first started because I wasn't used to this. But as I did it and as I got better at it, I realized it was such a powerful tool to just back then it wasn't even Zoom or Google calls. It was just phone calls. Just hearing my voice, they understood that I had experience, that I knew what I was talking about, the excitement that I had in my voice. And so that's one thing that we definitely do. And then the second thing is I believe that the way to make money in affiliate marketing is through deal making. And so you have your standard, the majority of affiliates, you'll have your standard commission, your standard terms. But for really good, high quality affiliates, again, everyone's coming to them. You're competing against networks, agencies, affiliate managers, brands, all of these people are pitching them. And so if you just come to them thinking, okay, I'm just going to send them a link, an email, 10%, and that's it. No, big affiliates, they want to make deals. They want to feel like they're a VIP person. And so you need to get on a call call with them, or you need to understand what is it that gets them excited? What do they like about some of the other programs that they're running? What are some of the minimum things that they want to see in this program before they launch it and go live? Then you have to go to the brand, give them that info, see where the brand can make some concessions, and then you make deals. And this is actually where the money is made. And there's nothing that AI can do about that right now. This is still human one-on-one relationships. And it's like that deal making, like I'll talk about it till the cows run home.
Next up, I had the pleasure of having back on my mic my dear friend, Sarafina Walder-Gabriel, the CEO of Rightlander and a 20-year marketing veteran affiliate marketer like myself. Together, we were talking about one of the industry's most dangerous myths, that compliance is a legal checkbox rather than a commercial advantage. Sarafina delved into how misleading promotions erode customer trust, why assuming big affiliate equals safe affiliate, and creates massive risk on how AI-generated and influencer-led content is expanding exposure faster than most programs can monitor. This episode reframes compliance as a growth lever. From the blind spots hiding in your social media and content creator programs and automated content at scale, to a practical 5-point audit that any affiliate manager can run immediately. Sarafina lays out a clear roadmap for protecting revenue before regulators or reputational damage steps in. For those of you on the fence, this next clip outlines exactly what Rightlander does and how it can help your business to grow confidently.
We are a company that listens to what the challenges are and then try to find our solutions. In that sense, what we do is automate the monitoring function in an affiliate program. So we find traffic sources, we find opportunities, we look for risk assessment, which is a big part of it. Because yes, there is always a notion in affiliate marketing, it's all about revenue. But if you find a source of traffic that looks very potential and a good one, but comes with a lot of risk, then you've got to make that decision and find the right balance. We try to help you make that decision quickly, timely, without you having to go through the pain of losing money before you actually take action. So that's really what we do, is we go through analyzing that data, but we don't want to just give you data. We want to be able to give you an action step and say, this risk is low, this risk is high, and then you can go ahead and make your relationships and drive your opportunities in the right way.
So that covers all the way through from, assessing an affiliate or a publisher and their traffic sources and understanding, is that traffic real? Is it kind of bots? Is it stuff that I should be paying a high CPA for, or maybe on a revenue share? All the way through to what is actually being advertised. So for example, is the right disclaimer on the page where the, banner is being displayed? Is the offer correct or outdated? Does it include all of that?
Yes, it includes all that. I mean, just to give you some context, we scan about 1.2 million pages and posts a day. So imagine if you're in charge of your compliance for your affiliate program and you try to do that manually.
And especially in like a heavily regulated sort of finance health industry, in the US, where FTC compliance is so strict in terms of what you can and can't say to consumers. Do you find it's mainly bigger programs that are coming to you with compliance issues, or are smaller programs also signing up at this point just to protect themselves?
In today's day and age, because there's so many sources of traffic, brands come to us to just do the heavy lifting because they can't be everywhere and watch everything that's said about their brand. And as the regulation gets more and more strict, they have to keep an eye. So brands come to us at different stages, not necessarily only the ones that have built huge legacy programs where manual monitoring is just not an option, or some of them who are starting, but they're trying to put the right systems and tools in place just to help grow in a more controlled manner and more confidence in their business.
The next episode of our podcast wrap-up is talking about search that's changing faster than most affiliate programs can keep up with. And on this episode with Alex Springer from Open Attribution, myself and Leanna Klein from Converge explored how AI-driven search is absorbing the customer journey, leaving publishers influencing decisions but often receiving no recognition or reward. Also challenging the industry's long-standing reliance on last-click attribution and explaining why it has already been flawed before AI accelerated the problem. and why the gap between how people actually shop and how platforms measure behavior is now almost impossible to ignore. Alex unpacked the idea behind open attribution, why collaboration across networks, publishers, and brands is happening for the first time, and what needs to change to ensure content creators, partners, and programs can still be paid fairly in an AI-assisted world. In this next clip, Alex outlines what open attribution is all about and the reasons behind this project and how you can get involved.
I'll give the really quick intro into what open attribution specifically is focusing on, and then dive into that question, because I think that probably, answering that takes up the rest of our time. Thinking about what are we trying to do, right? Forgetting the dangers specific to the affiliate industry. I think more broadly, I personally believe, and I think this is fairly non-contentious, that content owners should be remunerated for their work. They have the right to have visibility into how their work is used, how it's being quoted, how it's being represented. Right now, neither of those things are happening, and that's a fundamental issue. And it's not like it's a new issue, right? Not paying people for their work and then not showing them how they're being, or misquoting them, or showing them how they're being quoted, right? Those two things are varying shades of illegal for a reason, right? It's not a new concept. So the question then becomes, how do we fix that? And so open attribution is not going to solve all of these by itself by any means. So we're taking a big step towards some of them. But the idea is we really get in on this idea of transparency.
Are you talking about tracking transparency, understanding where that customer came from, what channels they went through, how to apportion? Because this is about commercials, right?
It is, yeah. And that transparency into what the customer does next after they read something, right? That's how we commercialize it. But even knowing how the content's being used in the first place. We'll talk about the content marketplaces and the kind of pay-per-crawl solutions and these things that are trying to build a market around this. I think they all have this very fundamental issue they have to answer, which is, what is the value of a scrape? And transparency into what happens next. Does a customer go buy something? What is that value? That's a good wedge into that to start to try to back it out. So what is it worth? But even more broadly, did this influence the user to do something? And that's kind of what we need. I'll also highlight, when I say content owner, I'm very intentionally not using the word publisher, because as we move forward, a product feed from a brand is content as far as an LLM is concerned, right? So a brand needs to be thinking about asking for transparency in how their content, how their products are being represented, as much as the publisher does for the articles they're writing, the reviews that they're writing.
Yeah.
And so we're focused on that transparency and usage, auditability, so we can understand, is this being accurately reproduced? If you're a news organization, you saw this during the CMA consultation from a couple of the publishers there, saying I was quoted almost perfectly, except the conclusion that ChatGPT said I came to in my article was completely wrong. They misquoted the fundamental core of the article, and there's no recourse to that right now. And we need the transparency and the auditability in order to start taking action against that. And then, yes, to your point, in terms of economic viability, how do we get paid? Who does the paying? And how much they actually paying for content, right? All that has to be answered.
For the last guest of this wonderful season, I welcomed Lauren Day, the Director of Agency Partnerships at Levanta, to discuss why brands need clearer goals, better data, and a more diversified partner mix, instead of relying too heavily on bottom funnel partners like coupon and loyalty sites. This highlighted the importance of treating creators differently from traditional affiliates, building real relationships and testing partnerships in small, measurable ways before scaling. Moreover, how margin pressure, rising ad costs, and AI-driven changes in search are pushing brands back to focus on performance-based marketing, top-of-funnel content, and consolidated tech stacks that stay efficient. For this last clip of our wrap-up episode, Lauren outlines how AI is shifting the need for creator content and how brands are pivoting to succeed.
AI is absolutely changing the shopper landscape and experience. There's no question there. And it's happening slowly, but also quickly at the same time. And I think most brands get overwhelmed by this and that there's confusion around what it all means and what it can look like for them. But the great news is if you tap into AI in the right way, you can really make it work for your brand's growth. And it's really not as overwhelming as it seems. Creator and editorial content is what fuels these LLM or search results. So AI is pulling from YouTube, high authority publishers, Reddit, social media posts, etc., to get the answers to these search results. So there's that. So investing in user-generated content and creator content has a dual benefit. So it's driving that direct discovery and improves how your brand is showing up in these AI recommendations. We did a lot of research on this last year, and some fun stats is around 10% of consumers use AI to do product research within ChatGPT, but then they go to other channels to validate those findings. So ChatGPT is a discovery layer, but only 10% of those shoppers on ChatGPT actually convert there. The rest of them, the other 90%, are actually going to your Instagram page. They're Googling, they're looking into the different pieces of content to get that human touch and really validate their findings and just decide on their purchase from there.
And that's important because you need to be able to track all of that. A few years ago, we weren't worried about any of those user journeys being so fragmented because everybody still went to the website to convert. But now, with payments being plugged into marketplaces and into AI as well, that checkout percentage, whilst only 10% now, could become 20, 30% in a year or two's time, if not more. And as we wrap up this season, one theme has come through louder than any other. Performance marketing is changing faster than most of us have ever expected. And the only way forward is to stay curious, to stay flexible, and to stay connected to the people behind the winning partnerships. The old rules still matter, but they are no longer enough on their own. Search is evolving and attribution is being questioned. AI is reshaping discovery, and the line between affiliate and influencer and media and content is fast disappearing. We learned that last click has never been the full story, that open attribution is forcing the industry to rethink how value is created, and that content creators are becoming just as important as traditional publishers in the customer journey. We talked about the importance of human relationships in a channel that is becoming more automated, and why trust, communication, and partnerships still outperform all of the normal shortcuts. This season also reminded me that diversification is no longer optional. Programs that rely too heavily on one partner type, one traffic source, or one measurement model are the ones that are going to feel the most pressure when the market eventually shifts. The brands that are winning are the ones testing more, listening more, and building programs that can adapt. We also heard a clear message about efficiency. The margins tightening and the costs rising, performance marketing is being asked to do more than ever before. And that means better data, smarter strategy, and sometimes going back to the basics. Understanding your partners, understanding your customers, and understanding what real value looks like beyond the single click. To everyone who tuned into this season, shared these episodes, sent me a 5-star feedback review, or joined the conversations at events around the world, I want to thank you. This podcast exists because this industry is built on people who are willing to share what they're learning, even while everything is still changing around them. Our next season is already in the works, and if this year has taught me anything, it's that there will be plenty more to talk about. New technology, new partnership models, new challenges, and new opportunities are coming, and I'm going to be right here with you to unpack them together week by week. Until then, thank you for being part of our journey, and we'll see you on the next season of the Affiliate Marketing Podcast.
Join thousands of digital marketers who trust Affiverse for the latest trends, tools, and tactics shaping affiliate success. Subscribe for free to our weekly newsletter and get expert insights from industry leaders, exclusive case studies and strategy tips, early bird invites to live and virtual events. You cannot afford to miss this. Don't fall behind. Get the news, strategy, and trends that keep your affiliate game sharp. Sign up now at affiversemedia.com and stay connected, informed, and ahead. Thanks for tuning in to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, your insider edge to all things affiliate.